Hey everybody, I'm here with Kalani English. He is running for State Senate District 7, which includes East Maui, Upcountry Maui, and the Outer Islands, Lanai, Ho'olave, Olokai, and Hana, right? East Maui. And we're going to walk story. Thanks for joining us today, Kalani.
Good morning.
Morning. Could you tell us a little bit about your background? What are your ties to Maui?
Well,
why did you get involved in politics?
I'm from Hana. My family's been there from time immemorial, and I live in a small village out there called Aneo, or a lot of people know it as Hamoa. My whole life there, went to school there, preschool, elementary, and then high school I went to Kamehameha in Oahu.
Mm-hmm.
So graduated from Kamehameha in 1984, and then undergraduate degrees, graduate degrees, all the college education, and then came home.
What is some legislation that you've worked on in this last session that you're proud of, the accomplishments that you've made?
This last session or
Yeah.
the last 18 years?
Well, we could talk this last session first, and then
Well,
maybe
so last
larger picture.
session, I'm trying to get Hawaii to adopt the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, which is 192 countries around the world. Voluntary commitments that we're looking at basically the sustainability of the planet. So the Senate has adopted it. We got the governor and others to, a lot of departments have adopted it. We're still working on the House. They're a little bit, slow.
Yeah. So the bigger picture then. So you've been in the Senate for 18 years, the state
Yes.
Senate. In those 18 years, what are some big accomplishments that you've done?
Let's see, some of the things you might know, High Five, the recycling programs,
Right.
that was my bill. Renewable energy portfolio standards, picking us off of an old system of monopolies and moving into renewable standards and renewable energy. That was my bill. What else did we do? Ahamoku Council, you heard of them?
What is that?
The Ahamoku Council is the Hawaiian advisory group to DLNR for Hawaiian issues. Created them. Let's see, what else did we do? Climate Change Commission, most recently. Festival of Pacific Arts Commission, last 2 years ago. Harbors Modernization Program, Airports Modernization Program, those are all my things.
So as far as legislation maybe that didn't make it last session, that is still being worked on, what are some things you're excited about if you do make it to the Senate? What will you work on?
I'm looking at the really big picture things. I'm third in seniority and rank in the Senate, and I'm also the majority leader. So I set the policy for the whole Senate. And what I'm trying to do is to do a whole of government shift so that we start looking at like the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So things like, life on the ocean, life on land. How do we integrate businesses and partnerships? How do we look at, happiness and well-being of people? So I'm at the point where I'm trying to do big whole of government shifts.
So it sounds like you're really advocating for healthy growth, addressing climate change,
Yes.
and the areas that you're representing, like Molokai, Hana, right? There are a lot of people that are concerned about the development that's happening there and the changes to lifestyle. So how do you balance that, concerns of people that want progress, but also people that want cultural and
Well, you
environmental
see,
preservation?
it's not a but. It's not this or this. It's a continuum, right? And so what we have to look at is, really, how do you balance, for instance, Molokai or Hana. Good morning. How do you balance the need for economic growth and the need for a certain lifestyle? That's what I mean about happiness and well-being. Our people need to have that, and need to have a sense of well-being, a sense of growth, and a sense of place. So that's the trick, and that's the balance that we have to try and find. So I've been trying to find this for my entire 24 years in public service.
In talking to your constituents, what would you say are three of their main concerns that you represent?
Three of the main concerns right now for me, from what I'm hearing, poverty and homelessness, sea level rise and climate disasters, and what's the third one? There's one other one that I find really important, and I can't think of it right now. Anyway, those are some really important things. Yeah.
So then regarding like cost of living, with the homeless issue, what are some ways that you're trying to address that?
Well, that's the thing. We talked about living wages this last session. We had big debates on that. The legislature had to balance it, and what we decided on is studying this a little bit more, because what we heard from a lot of the businesses is that if we go to $15 minimum wage, that they would lay off the average is about 1/3 of their workforce. So we have to really weigh that in. So we're trying to figure out how to balance the need for better costs, better pay, and also allowing the businesses to survive. That's the big challenge that we face right now.
Another issue that affects Molokai is the agrochemical activity that's over there. And I know that this last session you guys had the chlorpyrifos ban, and some people are worried that that doesn't go far enough. What is your stance on that?
Well, I've supported the bill, for many years, and I introduced the very first GMO ban in Hawaii when I was on the Maui County Council, and I actually had a lot of people that now are supporting the bans, opposed it at the time. So I did that in 1997. But the point is that on Molokai, most of the agro companies have left. So I have very huge unemployment on the island.
Right.
I think the last company that shut down let go about 200 plus employees. So we've had to figure out how to increase benefits to the island. We've been between myself and my counterparts there, we've introduced bills to try and up the benefits and extend the benefits. But that's the balance we have to find. How do we balance a lifestyle and a cash economy?
Right. So we're getting to the end of the street here, Kalani. I don't want to ask a question we don't have enough time for. So I just want to say goodbye and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And please remember to vote in the primary August 11th, the general election November 6th.